How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin Wynn with POS Portal and ScanSource. We'll get started in a few minutes here. We'll let folks join, but feel free. Any questions arise, just put it in the chat box. So we'll get started in a few minutes. I'll make another announcement soon. Hello, everyone. This is Kevin Wynn with POS Portal and ScanSource. Looks like folks are still signing in, so we'll give a couple more minutes here, and then we'll get started. So hang tight. Looks like we have a few coming on board, so probably just another minute and we'll kick things off. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started today. First and foremost, thanks everyone for joining PAX and us here for this webinar. We're both really excited and ecstatic to have everyone in the audience kind of hear about what we have to offer. So, we'll go about presenting on POS Portal and ScanSource and our ISV program, some of those advantages, and how we could help deploy these devices out in the world. And then PAX will go into kind of a little overview of semi-integration, what that means, what it entails, their brand new line of Android smart terminals, as well as their App Store. So pretty exciting stuff that we have ahead for you all. And as I mentioned, there should be a little chat box for you guys. So feel free to reach out with any questions, and we'll try to answer them. We'll probably answer those at the end. But we'll also be providing our contact information. So you have us as resources here for any questions you may have. So we'll go ahead and get started now. So on the left, Kevin Nguyen. I'm a channel development manager at POS Portal ScanSource. I've been at POS Portal for about almost 5 years now, and everything that I've done has always been related to the ISVs. So, when I started, it was selling to merchants and customers, point of sale hardware for, our ISV partners. And then I would be selling to our ISVs themselves directly. And now I'm more on the business development side and channel development side. So I'm on the product marketing team. As you folks may know, Shobit Kumar, I work alongside him and bringing software developers and ISV partners into our world. And then we also have Heather Hatch. Heather, you want to introduce yourself and what you do at PAX?
Sure. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you are in the U.S. My name is Heather Hatch. I am the Vice President of Business Development for PAX. I just, like a week ago, had my 8-year anniversary at PAX. So I have been involved in several departments of the company for the past 8 years, but mainly focused with our ISV channel and semi-integration. So we will get into that and how we're moving forward with the Android solutions.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. So this image here, as most of you may know, POS Portal started about probably 19 years ago or so. We were a small private company, 150 employees, and we really started, working, deploying countertop terminals to like the large acquirers, bank entities, and that led to, a slew of ISO agents that became our bread and butter was, deploying countertop terminals to these merchants, countertops, through these relationships we've had. And we did that for really 14 years, and that's how POS Portal grew into what POS Portal is. And then, 2015 hit with EMV, and that really changed probably all of our worlds, right? Us, PAX, folks in the audience. And so that really changed things. And we really emerged as one of the leading distributors and partners in that realm. We have a very solid team here that established relationships in the past 19 years that really helped us emerge. And with that being said, ScanSource saw the value in that and our expertise and our resources and what we're doing. And so they actually acquired us a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago, actually. So that really validates what we're doing out in the marketplace. So now together, you're looking at ScanSource and POS Portal as a whole. And that just really opens up our playground, which is good for everyone here, today. And so, as a whole, we have 35,000 total customers. We were just in the U.S., but now we have 43 offices worldwide. We have 500 vendors. We're publicly traded, so it's exciting times. And this is, like I said, all good news for everyone on board, because it really opens up a lot of doors. And this is a map of where we're located. So I'm from the POS Portal side in the Sacramento office. That's where POS Portal headquarters is. And just down the street is our distribution center. So we call this our West Coast facility. So anything typically left of the Rockies will deploy out of here, depending on stock, inventory, anything like that. And then we also have one to your right in Louisville. So that's our other distribution facility. It's actually right on the UPS hub. So we get shipments out fairly quickly. And we like to say this, but a majority of orders placed before 4 p.m. Pacific time, we actually get out the same day. Again, depending on quantities and stock and whatnot, but I would say, most of the times we get them out the same day. So we get things out pretty quickly, which is important for, you and your customers. And ScanSource, their headquarters is in Greenville, South Carolina. A beautiful office down there in a small little town, but a really cool place to go. And their distribution center is in South Haven. So this place is ginormous, and it makes ours look pretty minuscule, but they're doing almost 4,000 shipments per day, and I believe their cutoff is 5 p.m. Pacific time. So, with all 3 facilities out there, including the Sioux headquarters, we're able to really take care of most things going out quickly, efficiently, and correctly. This was the ISV program that I mentioned earlier. So now that we're in combination of one team, we're able to deliver some of these solutions to you. So we think of you guys as our partner rather than our customer, and we want to help you continue to grow and succeed with your product. That's what we look at you guys for. I feel like other distributors, are just looking for the next order or the next PO, but really that's kind of our last step. We want to be with you step 1 to step 501, and step 501 is like placing of the order. So, that's why we're doing like a webinar with PAX or any other partners, so that we can help deliver solutions for your product out in the market. So, whether that includes MDFs or, reseller recruitment, go-to-market strategies, we have all this technology. So we really look at ourselves as a tech company with distribution capabilities rather than a distribution company. So that's how we kind of really set ourselves apart. And, we could go into detail of this, offline, but this is kind of a layout of some of the things that are in our ISV program that you guys should really take advantage of. And so this also makes us unique out in the marketplace, is that we have multiple ways of working with us. So the left-hand side, the bulk purchase, that's more your traditional route, right? You go to a distributor, buy as a reseller, and resell to your merchant. We have online ordering systems. We have pre-configured bundles built. So we really make it simple for you to order, and you would have a dedicated rep. We have a support team here as well. So anything that is needed to order, your rep would take care of that for you. Think of that as your account manager. And then the middle one, the end user referral, this makes us really unique as well. So we actually have a focus out there in working directly with the merchants. We have dedicated microsites that are co-branded with our partners who prefer to not, purchase the hardware, not deal with the hardware at all, but refer us the merchant, so that POS Portal would be selling and working and supporting with your end users. What makes that unique is we actually would be paying you a spiff, a one-time spiff per device that's ordered. So, the partner would refer the merchant to us. We would sell the device, support the device to the end user, and then you would receive a spiff. So that's a pretty popular route as well, but there's no right or wrong between those two choices. People think you have to choose one or the other, but really both ways are there for you to succeed. And then our last one on the right is our deployment services option. So this is a lot of our large acquirers and processor entities are the ones using this relationship. So we have relationships with like WorldPay and Elevon, TSYS, as well as to name a few, that are out there using this as a contract deployment. And then this slide, this is a fairly important slide, and I think, you know, as a whole, this is probably one of the reasons ScanSource acquired us, was all these things listed out here. And so, you know, we try to squeeze it all in one slide. Obviously, it's hard to, but really our goal is to make it as simple as possible for our partner customer. You know, like when you come in and order, it seems really simple. There's a microsite or online portal that you could order from. And you just go on, it's, you know, like Amazon, you know, speaking of Prime Day today, but you go and place the order and it's delivered and it's ready to go and it's working. You know, there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes for that though. You know, we're, you know, solutioning for the debit key. So when we're working with the merchants directly, our team is actually going out and talking to the merchant services provider or the banking reps and finding the debit key for the merchant, because who knows, Lord knows, you know, the merchant, this stuff is already confusing itself, so the merchant's going to have no idea for that. You know, we're cutting the solutioning time down by pre-bundling everything, pre-configuring everything. So as long as it's all there, we can help with that. You know, we have technology with open APIs that you guys could integrate to. So there's a lot of tools and stuff that we could use through our Salesforce org or through our database. So there's a lot of cool options that we provide. And then we have a team here in place that is dedicated for each function. So one of our cool strong points is our product administration team. You know, they really are engineers that really go out through the solution providers, and they're going to processors, gateways, and other solution providers, and kind of getting that as a whole and delivering us a solution that we could deliver to you. And then the last point is our relationships. So, you know, we've really created these relationships and have strong relationships in the past, you know, 19 years that have helped us evolve into who we are today.
Hi, everybody. Heather Hatch here again. I'm going to really focus on two areas, and then at the end I do have some of the Android devices, but I think for PAX, you know, I hope that most of the people on this phone call know who PAX is. If not, we are the third largest terminal manufacturer in the world. We do deploy terminals in over 100 countries. We were founded in 2000, but came into the United States in 2008. So we have been here for 11 years at this point, and have really gotten to be the size that we are in North America due to one of our, probably our best engineering feat that we've had, which is semi-integration. Kevin, I can't seem to go to the next slide. Oh, there it goes. So I'm going to go through our traditional semi-integration, and then I'm going to get into Android semi-integration in the next slide. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you by PowerPoint. I just want to go through the concept. Without knowing this concept, it's kind of hard to figure out how easy it is for everybody to move to Android. And I think coming from the traditional semi-integration for PAX to what is now Android semi-integration, you'll see the jump was not really a jump. We are using the same software development kit, and we'll go through how that works. So our semi-integration, I know people throw around that term in several different ways. I'll explain how ours works. And basically, it is a very simple software development kit. We call that SDK POS Link. Get it? We are not marketing geniuses here. Link the POS. That's how that came about. So basically, the gist of it is you guys are learning how to speak to the PAX device. You're just learning that language and learning to send commands, and we're sending things back to you. In no way are we sharing any sort of sensitive PAN data, any sensitive cardholder data back. So you are sending us an invoice number and an amount to wake the terminal up. Inside the terminal is the EMV application that we have certified to one of the processing hosts. In that application, there is no more middleware. There is no middleware used. We are conversing directly from our device, from that EMV application to the processing host, and they're settling on the back end to the card brands. So from here, we will send back to your POS software last 4 digits of the card, what card type it was, and the author decline code. So you can still do all of your lovely reporting. You can still have all the great things. You know, people don't even realize that the EMV application is in the background. We will take that security risk. We take that. We have tons of resources and EMV experts that do all of these. We run probably 10 different EMV certifications at one time, because once we update one, the card brands might change something, so we have to go back and redo it. You know, in a way, these EMV applications can run up to 8 months, sometimes a year, depending on what you're changing. And nobody wants to do that anymore. So in 2015, as Kevin was saying earlier, EMV created this whole new headache for a lot of yourselves and developers of just not wanting to deal with the payment anymore and not wanting to deal with the payment regulation updates that come out all the time. So we take the onus of this. We do have staff, everybody to do that. To get our semi-integration kit, it is extremely easy. All you need to do is go to our developer portal. If you are not already on the developer portal, I suggest you sign up. It is free to sign up. It is developer.pax.us. This is our integration team of experts. These people that you are going to contact on that portal understand and know POSLink in and out like the back of their hand. I've never seen them stumped in any of the questions that people have asked them. It is a great group of people. They are based in Jacksonville, Florida. So if you sign up for developer access on that account, you might get a phone call or a conversation from Ken Schimber, who is also on this phone call with us. And Ken is our head of ISP channel. So he, hopefully you guys, if you haven't talked to him before, please get to know Ken very well. His information will be at the end of this call. But the developer portal is there for you guys to have frequently asked questions and to go through any questions you might have on your own, and they will get back to you very quickly. So how did we move this? So our semi-integration for POSLink started, we launched this in 2010, right? So this isn't new. As a terminal manufacturer, I'll be honest, we hoped EMV would hit a little quicker than it actually did in 2015. But from here, how did we move to another solution where we get out of this, you know, payment terminal that everybody has to have, move into an Android type scenario, and not have to recreate the wheel after we have thousands and thousands of developers and ISVs that have already done the PAX semi-integration with POSLink? How can we keep this all the seamless and easy way to do semi-integration and the most pure way to do semi-integration, but provide a device for Android that can be an all-in-one solution? So we're very careful about how to launch our Android products. Apologize, my screen is behind. It should be moving. There we go. So when you're talking, so when you have an outside ECR system, a PAX payment terminal, and then the semi-integration, the only thing that we've changed for our Android solution is to give you an all-in-one device. So you don't need the outside ECR system at this point because it's Android. And we'll go through our different terminals, but for the A series, for example, that's an A920 showing there. There's an Android portion of the device, and then there is the EMV application separated portion. They are separate CPUs, separate operating systems. They are separated out for PCI concerns. We're still doing semi-integration with POSLink within the Android device. The only difference is you guys have to write an Android app from the integration that you've already done the development for and shove it to our PAX Store, which we'll get into in a minute. So there's not a whole lot more I need to focus on this slide because it is that simple. We kept the same software development kit. We have the same applications across all of our devices. So you're always integrating. Once you integrate into one PAX device, you've integrated into all of them. It is a matter of what language you're going to speak and how you're going to want to do that. So if you're trying to do it with .NET or from a Windows or outside ECR system, or if you're going to do AIDL or Android, then that scenario you would come and write an Android app and push it to our marketplace. The bones of it and the API calls are the same. It is still POSLink. We did not go off and create this brand new semi-integration API that only works for Android. That was never the focus. The focus of PAX is to always keep the same system that we've been doing since 2010, keep that moving along and just add enhancements to it, which is all we've done with Android. And that's why we wanted to focus on it being an easy jump to get into these better solutions. There is no limit to the types of verticals you do. You know, we rely on you, your development. We rely on all the ISVs that work with us to do all these wonderful and awesome things that we don't do, right? We secure the payments. We rely on all of your verticals, your niche, you know, anything that you guys do, from the guy that writes the bakery app down the street and to the very large retail applications. There is no difference of how you guys are going to integrate into PAX. It is all POSLink, it's all semi-integration. So how do you get the Android apps onto the devices? We have created our own Android marketplace. It is called the PAX Store. It is fully developed by PAX. So basically what we've done is combine, if you will, Google Play and our BroadPOS terminal management system into one big system, if everybody knows what BroadPOS is. So it is the terminal management system that the ISOs and the acquirers and the merchant service providers can use to actually load that EMV application. It is also where they would go pick the POS software app to download it to the devices as well. I know these lines are kind of blurring a little bit as we have a lot of ISVs themselves that do full solution deployments themselves. It is the same system. It's all one place now. If you do not have a developer account and are interested in doing an Android application for the PAX devices, you would just need to go to the paxstore.us/developer, sign up for one. You will get contacted by somebody from the PAX Store. We do verify the people that join our development team. And from there, we have a guide that you can use. It is a very simple UI, a very simple process to manage and develop your application to. So 2 places here for you guys to know about. We have the integration site where you guys are going to ask any questions about POSLink itself if you are an ISV or developer that's trying to integrate into our payment devices. If you are a non-payment ISV developer that wants to just do an Android app, maybe you want to have somebody sell paper, or maybe you want to run somebody's security system for their building. Maybe you want to do their HR, their check-in, check-out, their accounting. If you're not integrating into the payment, then you don't need POSLink. All you need is this developer account. And ultimately, the only thing we do with our Android operating system that is different than any of the other Android OS that you've seen before is we take out Google Play, right? Because you have to go through the PAX Store to be able to load your application onto the device. So I've seen people that weren't integrating into the PAX payment device that have literally logged in, got approved for a developer account, and pushed their app to the PAX Store, and it worked great. We do have some difference in the Android devices, some landscape, some portrait. Pixel sizes of screens are a little larger or smaller, and you can see those when we get to the end here. But as I said, this is a feature not only for traditional payment devices. You can use this for our traditional devices as well. This is a normal terminal management system with added Android marketplace features onto it. But with Android comes all these things that everybody loves. You can monitor to the devices, you can see if it's online, you can send messages to it. There are all types of things that Android opens up where you can now manage the devices and do some really cool things. As I'm just getting into the monitoring, I can tell if a terminal's out of paper remotely. I can send notes to people that say, hey, I want you to know that this device is going to update at 3 o'clock in the morning, or however you want to tell them that. And all the device settings are all remote features. Again, we don't ever want to get away from, there are still a ton, hundreds of thousands of traditional devices out there, right? We aren't getting rid of those. We don't want everybody to freak out. If you've done the semi-integration for POSLink to an S300 or a PX device or something like that. Those are still here. Outside ECR devices, we understand, are still very important. We're just giving you another option with Android to be able to do that in some all-in-one devices. This helps for a lot of these types of merchants that maybe didn't want to invest in a huge ECR system. You know, you can run a full ECR solution off of an A920 or an A80, a normal standalone Android device. Some of our different Android solutions, I'll just get into those really quick, and I want to make sure we have time to get over to questions. So I know we've been in about 28 minutes. We do have our A series of products. Basically, the A920 and the A60 are the same thing. One has a printer, one doesn't. And the A80 is our countertop scenario. So you can have full Android solutions on a countertop device. The only difference between any of those, the A80 does not have a battery. It needs to be plugged in. We run into some of our E devices where now you start getting into different sizes of screens. You have the E800, which is the very large merchant type facing screen with almost 16 inches. You have the E700, which is a little lower to the ground, takes up less counter space, and then the E6, which is a mobile device that you can take off of that charging base and walk around with, and the E5, which was the first one we released, that is you've probably seen in several places out in the market. The difference, let me go back to the E5 really quick. The difference with these devices, the payment portion of this device that you are semi-integrating into for POSLink is actually the same payment device called a Q20 that is in all these devices. That is the PCI 5 certified device. In this scenario, we don't have to go back to the processing host and change any of our EMV certifications. That device is certified with any of our E series, whatever we come out with. If we decide to do an E1000, I'm making that up, but if we decide to do that, it doesn't matter. We're just changing the merchant facing size of the screen. The payment portion is the EMV certified device. Our Aries devices are one screen, pretty much like the A920s, but more so for retail, or they have the flatness of them, and there is an 8-inch and a 6-inch screen. They come with a ton of accessories, bases, handles for barcode scanning, a printer that swivels. The devices are slick and new looking, and you're looking whichever you're looking for. Now, to do the integration, I've had people that have done, and then our kiosk solutions, which same concept here. We're still using POSLink for semi-integration. That's basically a very large A920 that you're looking at right there. So basically, we're still using the same concept that you have to use the PAX Store. All you need is an Android application. Obviously, you're going to probably want to change the pixel size of that application because it is a almost 24-inch screen on the SK800. But for things like the A series, the E series, basically, I've seen people do two types of apps, and only because if their app does not automatically change screen functioning from a portrait to a landscape, or they did something for an E800, which has a very large merchant-facing screen. That is the only reason. That the integration part of it is exactly the same, no matter what Android devices you're using with PAX. So the PAX Store Developer Center for you guys to sign up as a developer and input your app into and manage your app from there. We have test marketplaces that you guys can use and test. If you have any questions, we have a full support team for both of those solutions.
Thank you, Heather. That was really great, and thanks for going into detail about all those exciting things for the folks present here. So hopefully everyone was able to hop on board. Sorry about the audio thing. Not sure what exactly happened, but we have recorded the whole thing, so we'll send that out afterwards. So kind of just to go through what I was saying earlier, we have an entire team here that's really dedicated to all of this stuff that we're talking about. And so when it comes to the partners, Shobit and I are going to the partners and figuring out how you guys are wanting to go to market, whether that's direct, indirect, whether you're wanting to take on the hardware or refer the merchant over. So whatever that may be, we're really trying to figure out the best way for you to go and bring your market to solution, or to your solution to market. As I mentioned, we have a product management team here. They're really like our engineers. And so they're going out to the processors, gateways, solution providers to, get the software updates, to get the next application, the configurations, or, to figure out a device needs a data key and a PIN key, or whatever it may be. And then we have the sales team as well. So those are the ones, interacting day in, day out with our customers. And then what we also have is our support and success team. So any troubleshooting help or anything that's not working out in the field, we have a team dedicated to helping you and your merchants out there. So, these are some of the leaders in that, but, really this shows to present, that we're dedicated to the space and what we're delivering out to the market. So here's our contact information. On the left-hand side is ScanSource. You could use the developer sales at scansource.com. And then both of us will actually be at retail now. So those are our booth numbers. And I don't think Heather mentioned it, but Ken will be, PAX's main point of contact. Heather and Ken will work closely together. But Heather, you want to explain Ken's role really quick?
Yeah, I think I talked about Ken briefly. Sorry, Ken, if you're listening, if I didn't beef you up enough here. But Ken is the head of our whole ISV channel. I don't know if you want to take yourself off mute and say hello to everybody really quick. But yeah, Ken and Anthony Davis, who works with him, are really the main contacts for all of the ISVs to get the full partnership and everything moving in the right direction. We realize we do have 2 developer portals, one for questions and one to actually push the apps to some of the questions, and how we kind of work on partnerships together. Ken manages all of that in his group. Obviously, you're welcome to contact me. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, to Heather's point, what we try to do is also get you into the portal. We have what we call kind of an SDK kickoff. So we'll understand what you're trying to do with the terminal and point you in the right direction in terms of where to go in the SDK and follow you through completion. So look forward to hearing from you all.
Well, thanks, Ben. So yeah, now we'll kind of open up to questions. Feel free to shoot away. We have some already, so I'll go ahead and ask those. Heather, this one is for you. How is developing on PAX different than developing on Clover?
So one of the differences is we are processor agnostic, right? So Clover, obviously, you're going to run through First Data channels for those solutions. They do have a very great product. What we do with our semi-integration is to be able to have that open. We're Switzerland, if you will. That the applications itself, the EMV applications, are written to all of the major processing hosts. So you guys don't have to worry about that part of it. We will run, like I was saying before, a ton of EMV certifications at one time, but we hit all of the major processing hosts and a lot of gateways if you work with gateways themselves as well. And in those solutions, once you've integrated into the PAX device, whether you have a First Data app in there or whether you have a TSYS app in there, the only change you would need to make in the terminal is the debit key, which is why you need Portal, right? So if you want to have people that maybe use ISOs, love this factor because some are First Data and TSYS ISOs or Heartland ISOs, etc. It does not matter to us which processing host you utilize. And I would like to think, because our software development kit has been around for so long, like 11 years at this point, it has kicked the tires so many times that we are not in any sort of a testing phase with our POS link. That it is a true known factor that we do not need to update. So it has been around and has proven to work.
Hey, this is Ken Sherman. Just to add to that, from an ISV perspective, the other value proposition aside from what Heather described is that the same amount of effort you would integrate into a Clover would get you to 2 devices with Clover. The same amount of effort that you would use on PAX will get you to about 11 different use cases. So anywhere from a countertop to an all-in-one, from portrait to landscape displays. So it just kind of gives you a more breadth and scope in terms of use cases by device.
Awesome. All right, next question. When you said integrating with one PAX device means integration with all PAX devices, does this mean all devices, Android and non-Android, support the same semi-integration, or only all Android devices?
Both. So it is the only difference you're going to do is what you're going to write that in, right? If you're writing in Java or .NET, or if you're writing in Android, is the only difference. The development kit itself is the same for non-Android and Android devices. It's a matter of what language you're going to write that in. You do have to make an Android app for the Android terminals.
Can any of these devices do an RDP into a server?
So technically to do that, you would need some sort of external access. And at this point, we have discussed doing kind of what we call normal outside ECR type certifications for some of our Android devices. That is up and coming. That's something Ken can talk to you about of how we would move to that.
Cool. And then there was a follow-up to the Android question earlier. So there's no way to do semi-integration payment without a custom Android app for PAX Android devices?
Well, you can run, I mean, for an A920 to sit there, if you want to run a processing host EMV application on it in standalone mode, it will work. But in that scenario, you've provided them with an Android terminal that's just running a standalone device. The point of what you guys do, the developers and the ISVs, is to have your app be the main app that everybody's staring at, looking at, doing all of its great reporting and functionality. And then when it comes to the payment, you don't even know that the EMV application is in the background. So the benefits of you guys writing the Android apps for the POS software companies is being able to give these SMBs or large merchants, depending on which you're working with, the ability to have an all-in-one solution that can do everything more that you guys do than just doing the payment, which is what normal payment terminals are used to, right? Now you've opened it up to do everything in one big device. There are no limits when it comes to Android, right?
Cool. Thanks, Heather. If I certified with TSYS using PAX S300, can I easily certify with Heartland?
There's no certification needed on your end. So that's another great thing of PAX with semi-integration. So when you do, we do the certification, right? We do the heavy lifting of the EMV application to certify that application with the processing hosts. If you've done semi-integration with our POS link, with our software development kit, you're really learning to speak to what is called our broad POS application. Whether it goes to Heartland or TSYS or First Data or Vantiv, WorldPay, whoever, you've learned to speak to our basic broad POS application. It doesn't matter which processor application is in there. The only thing that would matter, like I said before, is if you need to change the debit keys. You need Portal for that.
Okay, and there's a question. With your 3 passive partnership for your partners, which one is more popular? So that one, I would say, there's really no popular ones. The first one's the more traditional one, which is where we're selling to the partner as a reseller, and the partner, resells to their customer. That's really in the case when a partner wants to keep everything in-house. They want one point of contact for the customer, and they're kind of taking on everything for that customer. And they make money off the hardware. They make the margin and services behind that. So I would say, that's one route to go. And then there's other, ISVs who really don't want to deal with the hardware at all. They want to just focus on software. They don't want any tangibles. And that route works really well for the direct-to-merchant referral process, where they get a spiff, they pass over referral. But like I said earlier, there's really no right or wrong. We have many who are doing both, where they have a larger deal and they kind of want to take that on. There's some revenue to be made there for the hardware, so they buy it in bulk as a wholesaler. Where the ones and twosies, they pass on to us, so we're working directly with the merchant. What's cool about that, and especially for PAX, is that when the partner is referring the merchant, we actually have the ability to do the broad POS setup as well, so that we could take that completely off your hands. So, we have our own broad POS instance account, for like some of the S300 devices and the other devices mentioned. So that's another value prop that we add. Next question. Are there any types of apps banned in your app store?
That's a good question. We do not allow browsers on the devices. Security-wise, we do not allow that. I guess my question might be, what types of apps are you thinking? But there is an approval process that we go through for applications that come into the PAX Store. We've not rejected one yet that I know of. So let us know, or can know, if you have a question on certain things. But the browsers, I think, might be what you're going for, and we do not allow browsers, no. And it has to be from the developer. We've had people come to us before and say things like, I don't know, I'm going to make this up, I want Angry Birds or something on, on the terminals. And unfortunately, they aren't the developer of Angry Birds, right? So it would, somebody had asked us to do TeamViewer. That's a great one. TeamViewer was asked for us at one point. And instead of us allowing TeamViewer, which is a Google service, we went and wrote our own, what we call POS Viewer, which is about to be released at the beginning of August, where you can now remotely monitor and even change things on the device. So if we consider it something to be, we might need to overlook this a little bit, then it might be something that PAX will offer in the future as an enhancement, as opposed to just having somebody go find the app and shove it on the PAX Store. A lot of people think, well, I can download this app because I can break into my phone. It does need to be the developer of that actual application that comes in.
Cool. Another question. Does PAX already have a register app integrated, or will we have to deal with a third-party register app?
So we are coming out with, and if you are going to RSPA, we will launch it at this show. We are coming out with some very simple register type, very basic, if you will, POS system. It is not meant to do anything but help you get through that first step. We don't want to be the developer. We don't want to be the ISVs, but we have realized that there is a very base system missing on that. And more of information on that will come out more towards, I guess, in 2 weeks when we all go to San Antonio for RSPA.
Okay. Next question. If we write an Android app, do we have normal access to the screen until payment time? When payment starts, is our application's access to the screen blocked until payment is complete?
So you do go into the payment UI when you're running into the payment. We do have a UI designer tool on POSLink that you can use, but when you actually have sent and started the transaction, it will wake up the payment portion and be in the payment screens. Most people